Here's 5 mistakes men make when entering into the family court system. And I want you to pay attention, because if we can avoid these mistakes and do some right things, you're going to get fair custody, fair alimony, fair child support, and you could quite possibly just dominate in the courtroom. The first mistake men make is they think that if they're a good dad, they're just automatically going to get something fair. They're going to get something like 50-50. The judge is going to see that, much like your mom or your dad or your family and friends agree that you're a great father. The courts are not going to see your case that way, and this is why you need to learn to speak the language of the courts. You need to start specifically learning what determines custody, what determines visitation, what determines alimony, child support, your property, and all these different things, and each one of those things needs to be argued specifically. You also need to understand that if you don't get this right, then you could start having more of the government, the state, and so on being involved in what you do as a parent, meaning CPS, social workers, guardian ad litems, and so on can get involved in the way that you parent. You want to get this right. The second thing is your ex is going to lie, and your ex is going to attack you in ways that you never even thought were possible, that he or she was capable of. Now, there's tons of reasons for this, but basically in a family court situation, the worst sides of people come out. This is where the personality disorders come to the surface, the narcissism, the Machiavellian thought, all these different things are going to just be huge. Now, I'm going to tell you this, if you are not organized in your court case, if you don't understand how the law works, if you don't file motions correctly, if you don't organize evidence correctly, if you don't point out the right evidence, then everything is hearsay, meaning that her lie is going against your truth, or vice versa, or whatever the situation is. And if both parties are disorganized, or she's a little bit more organized than you get rattled, you start arguing back, you start saying that's a lie and that's not true, the judge is going to stop the case because order is not happening in that judge's courtroom. They're going to react upon safety, or what they think is safety, in your 10 to 15 minute hearing that you get in front of them. And because you didn't learn to organize that properly, you are going to get a reactive decision, meaning you have no rights. You have lost your rights at that point because you didn't understand how to organize your court case. And let's just go back to this really quick. They are going to lie. They are going to do evil things. You're going to feel bad as a man, and you're going to want to do the best for them, and you're going to say, man, I'm going to take the high road. Well, let me tell you something. The high road is hitting hard and doing the right thing legally, so they don't get you into more trouble, your family into more trouble, and even though you're breaking apart, you need to guide hard with the law to stop insanity from happening. Because although you can almost guarantee they're going to be out of control, being evil and all this different stuff, you need to stop them legally so it doesn't go any further, so that you could have a better future, your kids could have a better future, and things could be done fairly. Number 3, the longer you wait about any of this, the longer you delay, the longer you understand how the law works and start speaking the language of the law, meaning answering whatever you got served with, hiring lawyers, not hiring lawyers, how to file stuff in court and get in front of the judge. The longer you wait for that, the more you avoid that, the worse things are going to get for you. Meaning, if you do not do any of these things and you just hope that it goes away, and you put another day on it and you do not focus on how you need to talk to the courts, you're adding every single necessary ingredient so that you get screwed and have a tragedy in the courtroom. This is something that you absolutely do not want to do. You need to act now today, but act now today legally in the smart way, filing things right, preparing things in the way that a court is going to hear it, so that you can make your arguments to get your rights and your freedom as a father or a mother or whoever is watching this. Number 4, what makes a deadbeat dad? Now, the idea is a deadbeat dad is somebody who doesn't pay child support, doesn't see his kids, ignores them, is totally gone. They have made the willful choice to not be a father. And see, what's interesting is here in the United States and in most first world Western civilization, we have dads fighting to be fathers that can't be fathers. They get screwed over in the court system. They pay too high of child support that they can't manage. They get behind on it. They're alienated from their children because a woman has leveraged the court system to take away their rights. In addition to that, because they're completely disenfranchised, they don't feel like anybody's on their side. Everybody ignores them. People believe the myth of a deadbeat dad. They become broken men. They try and see their kids. They try and do their best to support their kids. They're giving money to a woman month after month while they're not able to actually have a real relationship with their kids, because that relationship is prevented by the mother, whether that's lies she's telling the kids, involving the kids, using the kids as a middleman or a middle person to leverage some sort of idea. She's starting the kids in other activities and excluding the father. The list goes on and on and on. Because of that, that dad is more depressed around those children. He doesn't know how to relate with them. Those children may dislike him, hate him, have opinions about things that go against him. And probably one of the sickest things is women will start to involve a new father, say that this is the new dad, this is your dad, you call him dad, and you call your real dad you by name. This goes deep into parental alienation and all these different topics that we talk about on this channel. It's a horrible, sick thing, and we really need to stop it in our culture. The reality of the matter is there are far, far less deadbeat dads than our culture is saying there is. They're actually dads, they're heroes, they're amazing guys who've had some of the worst pain put upon them, and even though their kids are trained to hate them, they keep walking forward. And number 5, there are people that can help, and you need to know this. But just like any industry, it's polluted with a lot of different crap. Now, what I mean by this is there are resources and tools for men and women to be able to get the information that they need in order to be a parent in their child's life, to be a parent in their child's life when parental alienation is happening. Now, this is part legal, this is part mental, this is a long road, and it's very, very hard, and it's complicated, and you're going to hit walls one after another. Now, one of my problems with this is I have really coached men for 18 years, every single day of those 18 years, and for 8 to 16 hours every single day of those 18 years, in every single one of men's problems in our modern world. That's PTSD, addiction, suicidal thinking, dating, sex, sexual dysfunction, and of course, divorce and custody. I've also suffered many of those things and walked with many men on that. This is all I do. When I see different fathers' rights movements or different people talking about that, a lot of it is false motivation or an anger that is towards feminism and women. And whether those things may be the cause of why these laws are made, that's not how we change laws. It's also not how a man individually gets through the pain of divorce and custody. Now, these things are overwhelmingly frustrating. I totally get it. Women exploit the law. Women exploit abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse, violent acts. They exploit laws made for that were made to protect them, and there's literally no consequence they get for it. They can make up a false claim. It might be illegal technically on the books, but it's never enforced. And those laws were made to protect women who were really suffering from violence or kids who are really suffering from abuse. And they exploit that because they're having a bad day or they're delusional and they can't keep themselves in check, whatever the situation is. It's totally screwed up. Now, I get it. If you're going through this, you are completely hammered. You're disenfranchised. You may have been taken for a ride for $30,000 by the courts. Family law is absolutely a business. It's crazy. It's screwed up how it works, and it takes advantage of men's pain and women's pain in these situations. This is why I made the many different products and courses that I have. I have a YouTube channel with over 1,000 free videos on it. I have a TikTok channel with a ton of stuff on it. I have free PDFs that you can download. But if you need extra help, if you need me to help guide you and other men who have been right where you're at, but they're 6 months, 2 years, 3 years down the road that you want to access immediately, I've built communities around that. Those communities are paid communities. So there's a bunch of free stuff, and anything that you pay for with me is going to be a service. Somebody is going to work with you on it. Recently, I'm testing out a much more affordable economic community that we try and keep as cheap as possible, cheaper than a tank of gas. It's a one-time payment, and you can sign up for that. You can talk to me live, other men live, and in addition to that, you also get a pretty amazing product, Divorce and Custody, the Survival Guide for Men. Now, if you really want to step it up and you want us to dive deep with you, that is the Rising Man community. I also keep that as affordable as possible, but there you get just 24/7 support. You get hours and hours of call time where we work with you. We'll go through your case, we'll help you organize evidence, and we'll try and take out the crazy confusion out of the family court situation. And more importantly than any of that, we're gonna have your back, man. We're gonna have your back in one of the most solid ways that you're ever gonna see. Hope you're doing well. I get that it's a hard time, and we will talk to you soon.